SimplyScuba presents the Deco Stop podcast. Hi everybody, welcome to the Deco Stop podcast.
Sorry, I was burping there, guys. Always the professional. Always the professional.
Dear, I'm Mark. I'm joined as ever with Sean, who today is releasing a brand new colour that he's invented. This is something that nobody has ever seen before, and he is announcing it live on this podcast so that everyone can see this new colour.
Yes, it's called Flurple. It's up on your screens right now. Can you see it? It looks beautiful, doesn't it, Mark?
I can't really describe it. I can't use any colours. It's unlike any other colour I've seen before.
Yep. Flurple,
it's
mate.
Incredible.
That's not bad. That wasn't bad considering you keep throwing me in the deep end with these things every week.
Do.
It's good.
This is a new
I like
thing.
it.
This is a new thing that I do.
Yeah, Flurple, mate. Coming to you. Next year, we're going to release our new range of SimplyScuba gear. It's all going to be in the Flurple colour. You're welcome. #Flurple.
We're here to talk about scuba diving and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, starting off with website updates. Nothing overly exciting said on the website. The exciting thing that I've been talking about for about 2 or 3 weeks still hasn't arrived in the post. So, I'm just going to stop predicting that stuff's going to arrive.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
I'm only going to mention stuff that has arrived because people just keep letting us down. But what has landed on the website is a couple new colours for MyFlex, or to use their name correctly, MeFlex hoses. Yeah. We got the purple and the orange, which is sort of funky colours. We got excess scuba spools, so just fairly cheap and cheerful plastic spools. They're fairly generic, but very cost effective.
They do the job.
Well, yeah, that's it. That's all you really want out of a spool. It's just a plastic body and some bright yellow line. Yeah, you can see it in pretty much any waters. There you go. They are a little bit overspun, which is actually quite beneficial because it means that you can take some off. That line is incredibly useful in all sorts of places. I've used it everywhere from the garden to my garage. It's just useful just to have a bit of excess string. Excess line on these.
I use it as floss. It's really good for floss.
Wow. Good heavens.
Well, I've only got 3 teeth. Everything else is CG.
We did get some camouflage torches, but all but one, I think, has sold out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, but we couldn't see them.
Yeah, we put them down and we couldn't find them again.
Oh, no.
So the blue camo one, that sold out in 2 or 3 days, and it is quite funky.
It is cool.
There's a green, normal army DPM type camouflage. I think we still got one of those in stock. Get in there quick. But actually, it's a fantastic torch from Big Blue. It's 1200 lumens or 1200 lumen torch. Pretty compact. Got a little 18650 lithium-ion battery in it, which is rechargeable. That's a great all-rounder. I think for some reason they want to put it in the spearfishing torch category. It's like, well, what? What makes a spearfishing torch?
Yeah, that's what you need. Do you not know?
You can only use it whilst spearfishing.
Spearfishing, yeah, that's it.
And
the light attracts certain fish.
Well, that was my next comment. It's got this matte camo finish, which is cool. It gives it a grip and it makes it a little bit different. It's not just a black torch. But okay, so it's matte, so it doesn't shine, and reflections don't scare the fish away. But it's a torch. It's gonna shine. It emits light. But anyway, I think it's just in the regular scuba torch department. Cool. But actually, it sits at a really nice price point.
Yeah, so they missed a trick, Big Blue. What they should have done is they should have called this new range, the camo range, the Cena range.
Cena?
John Cena, famous for camouflage.
Okay. I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't see it.
So anything else that's dropped other than some MeFlex and some camo torches?
No. I think we had a fourth element drop. So sort of restocking a lot of sizes and bits and bobs and fourth elements.
Okay.
Yeah, but kind of similar to sort of what I mentioned last week. We're just sort of getting into the like sort of groove of things heading up to Christmas. So sort of gift ideas. We're looking at stocking some bits and bobs and getting it in. So yeah, that's about it really.
Cool. Wicked. Right. So social updates. Now, normally when we do this, I go on the community tab and I say, oh, who's winning the vote this week? We're filming this a day early because, again, we have a meeting, a really exciting meeting. Cannot wait for it. I'm not being sarcastic at all, John, if you're listening to this. I cannot wait. Please don't fire me for that comment. But you head over to our community tab on YouTube, and obviously you can vote for next week's surface interval. The free votes are why divers need to keep their distance from another and reefs.
Smell.
That's a very generic term. That I think the total was longer, but I'm like, nah. I want to shorten it to something that's really stupidly tyrannic.
Yeah.
So well done there, Sean. How to enhance your scuba diving? Take drugs. Don't do that, kids. Drugs are
LSD,
bad.
imagine.
Whoa, that's weird. We flipped over. I've been the responsible one, and you're saying everyone should drop LSD or acid. What's going on? Anyway.
Bit of bioluminescence would really, really tweak that out.
Oh, yeah. And the last one is the greatest scuba diving spots in the world. And one of them is not allowed to be the Thistlegorm because that's already been featured, Mark.
It'll just be like the Southern Red Sea.
God, stop it. Stop it. Yeah, you've got to do the quarry where Scuba Escape are. They need to be in that whatever quarry they use.
Vivian Quarry or something up towards
that
Anglesey.
That needs to be number one.
An old quarry.
Northwest
Wales.
That's it. But yes, anyway, you got those three votes. What do you reckon, Mark? What's going to win? So divers need to keep their distance, enhance your scuba diving, or the greatest scuba diving spots in the world.
I like to think the one that I'd like to write, because it will be a bit of a challenge, is why scuba divers need to keep their distance. I just think that one will be quite fun. I could get some fun out of that. How to enhance your scuba diving? Yeah, that's quite generic. I don't think too many people will go for that. The greatest scuba diving spots in the world is probably going to be the winner, though. It's nicely generic, but yeah, people are going to want to see that.
Yeah. Well, that brings us off to my next point, which is the shipwreck video that we shot. That, again, was a very nice, generic, almost a bit of a throwback to what we used to film in the old Simply Scuba days. And people have loved it. They've lapped it up. They like the fact that, I put clips back on. I thought, do you know what? If it gets copyright striked, it gets copyright striked. It's only a video. It'll be all right. But it seems to be doing really, really well, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you. And again, in the future, end of this year, beginning of next year, that's what we might start pulling towards again, making them, not that they're not fun at the moment, but yeah, nice classic
Well, it's
feel to them.
I mean, yeah, we've been through, we've gone sort of up and backwards and forwards with all these kind of things, and it often was the more effort that we put into a video, the less it did. It's like, we spent hours on that, whereas sort of just me downstairs for 10 minutes, just like hit record and just talking to the camera, those videos did really well. So we're like, well, hey. And then when lockdown hit and that was literally all I could do, we kind of got in that not rut, but that's what we
groove.
did.
Yeah,
that's
it.
The groove. That's a nicer word than rut. Now we're just getting the creative juices flowing again. It'll be sort of more interesting to get some actual sort of lifestyle stuff back into our footage.
Definitely. But yeah, there is a plan, guys and girls. But just like Mark's promise of weekly brands and new products coming, that gets delayed every month. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer till we can mention what big plans we've got, because in all honesty, they are pretty big. Some might say channel changing. It's fine. It's Deco Stop. No one ever watches this, so or listens to it, should I say? But don't worry about Deco Stop though. That's always going to be here because it's in our hearts, and it's just where we can rant. Not even rant. Talk about crap. Sorry, scuba diving. Anyway, swiftly moving on. Let's talk about Instagram. So we are the road to 6,000 has been completed. I can officially say it. We've got enough numbers. We're now at nearly 6,100.
Told you.
Which is good. So yes, we've had a nice. It's the first time since I think even when I was working at the old SimplyScuba that in our analytics we've gone over plus 1%. Normally it's been 0 point something% on growth. I've never seen it go over 1, and it officially this week it went over 1. I was like, oh my god! So I was
Single
talking
figures.
I was like, I was literally talking to my partner about it. It's like, why? It's only 1%. I'm like, you don't understand. It never goes over. It's normally 0 point something or negative. We've never had a plus 1 before consistently for like 3 days straight. So thank you to everyone who follows us. Now the road to 6,000 is complete. Unfollow us, please, so then we can start it all up again. Please don't do that. Everyone seems to be loving everything that we do on there. So basically, I'm going to start it early, road to 10,000. By the end of next year, I want us to hit the 10,000 mark. Because when you hit 10,000, you get way more features to play with in Instagram.
Yeah, cool.
And now we've got the things swinging on there. We've got the groove. We know what works. We know what doesn't work. Head over to there, hit that follow button, comment on the pictures. If you want to be inspired by scuba diving, we share inspirational pictures. And if you want to see what the latest gear has dropped on our website, it all goes live on our Instagram. It's probably the most reactive that we are out of all our social platforms, really. Because even when we film and edit, we film them a couple of days beforehand, and there's editing, and then that's when they go live, for the weekend or whatever. Whereas in Instagram, if something drops, Mark straight to it. When it comes to dropping off the products, and then I'm the everyday. I put up all the not the generic stuff, but the everyday stuff up there. But anything new and exciting, that's the place to go. And the podcast, usual. Subscribe, follow, do whatever. Numbers are still good, which is really good. People are still listening to us. There are plans to do some more bits in the future, but again, that's all to do with the bigger picture. Which I'm teasing you about, which we'll find out in 2 years' time.
We'll talk about it later.
Yes. Basically, in a nutshell, me and Mark are going to start wearing dresses. That's what's happening.
That John Lewis advert, have you seen it yet?
No.
With John Lewis advert, apparently it's had such a backlash. It's basically a young boy, and he starts off like upstairs in his like mum or sister's dress. Yeah. And he basically goes through the entire house just knocking vases over and just like slapping paint on the wall, throwing glitter everywhere. And it's had like, I don't think it's like everyone, but I think a few people, like 15 people, have actually like withdrawn their insurance policies with them because of this advert. And you're like, it's an advert.
Yeah, people need to. That's social media fault. Everyone, because of social media, everyone thinks that their opinion matters, and obviously everyone's opinion does matter, but also it doesn't really. So shut up.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's an advert. It's like, get over it.
The one thing that always used to get me, for foreign listeners, you might not know of, what's it? Points of View, which was a British TV program where they basically get the audience to comment on TV programs from the previous week, and people would complain about, I can't believe they showed this on such and such a TV show. Well, change the channel.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy a certain program, what are you watching it for? Yeah. So,
Well, to be fair, I was pretty anti Songs of Praise, and they never, ever read out one of my letters. I was like, look, that's not fair. What about the other side? What about the Church of Satan? Come on. Even you're meant to be neutral, BBC. Oh, I couldn't say that with a straight face.
Whoa. Yeah. No.
Definitely not. Anyway, we're going into a very dark, different rabbit hole of media. So, Mark, Scuba News. What has been going on?
So the first thing was on this was last Thursday. Two scuba divers off the coast or the southwest coast of the UK were rescued by the RNLI. Thank
Awesome.
goodness. They planned a dive, and I think they got down to like 14 meters, and they realized that there was a really strong current. So they aborted the dive, they surfaced, but by that point the current had just taken them just so far away from their boat that the crew on board the boat, when the divers didn't surface on time, they gave it about 20 minutes or something, and then they raised alarms.
Yeah.
So they sent out RNLI, their lifeboats, and luckily they found them. It was I think it was a new guy, trainee helm Sam Robinson, on one of the search boats, spotted the missing divers from more than 250 meters away, which is impressive.
Whoa, he's been eating his carrots.
Yeah, they were 1.3 miles away from where they were expecting to surface.
Yeah,
so
wow.
Yeah, just be. I think they'd been under like 17 minutes or something, and they were just like, nah. Current's too strong, let's get out of here. And even by that time they were too far away for their boat to see them, but happy ending. But yeah, if you are diving, DSMBs, get that up as soon as possible, and a big DSMB, the biggest you can possibly get.
I told you they need strobe lights on the DSMBs, mate. There needs to be that technology. They've got you can get flexible rolls of light. I don't get why you can't just put it on the sides and then whoop whoop whoop. Or go steampunk and have tubes, glass tubes. I mean, it's purposely you just take it down a hole.
I mean, one thing that would be quite cool, you do get, this is more like helicopter rescue, but they have paint packets.
Okay.
But they also have smoke packets. So the paint is like a green dye, and you open it up and it just turns all the water around you just bright, lurid green, like you wheeze yourself in the public swimming pool. And that just means that helicopters can see you that much better. But yeah, a DSMB with, I don't know, something that reacts with seawater and just creates a bit of smoke or steam, so that you get this like pillar raising up from where you actually are in the water to help you be seen. That would be quite cool.
That would be cool.
Or if you know the AP valves, the buddy ones, you know, the SMBCIs with the small little tank.
Yeah. I remember.
Instead of filling that with air, get some helium and actually get a DSMB that actually floats up out of the water.
That would be cool.
Maybe one day. I don't know how cost effective that is because there's limited helium in the world.
Doesn't matter. Next year, SimplyScuba, the helium DSMB, coming to you 2022, guys. In the I've already forgotten the colour that I made up. Flurple.
It'll be the
whatever
Flurple.
It was. Yeah.
It'll be a Flurple DSMBHE.
Catchy. Fantastic.
Last week, the coronavirus travel advice has eased up for 32 countries for scuba divers in the UK, not specifically for scuba divers. But,
scuba divers and scuba. Boris is that specific. I didn't realise he was massively into scuba diving. Bless him.
Places like Fiji and Malaysia, they've opened up, so you can start sort of planning trips out to Fiji.
That's awesome.
Including Mexico, Cuba, all of mainland South America.
Nice. That's cool.
Actually, correction. Let me read this paragraph properly. The government is also expected to announce on Thursday changes to the red list. There are currently 54 destinations on the list, including Mexico, Cuba, all of mainland South America, and southern and eastern Africa. So actually, no, ignore what I just said. I think they might change, but they're probably still on the red list. But yeah, Fiji is.
Nice.
Along with sort of Bangladesh. I don't think there's too much scuba diving around Bangladesh.
Right, mate. Do you reckon there's going to be a nice little flurry? Because normally it's the end of the season now. People have had their holidays, but I think people might go out, won't they?
I think with the Red Sea, especially here in the UK, it's a big travel destination because it's nice and close, but it's still vibrant colours. It's still pretty warm. So yeah, I think dive sites around the Red Sea and dive centres are going to become a bit more popular.
Good.
Or actually get some divers through them, which will be nice. Wish I could get out there. I've been talking to a dive centre and they're like, yeah, come out. I was like, yeah.
Well, we've technically got the funds.
Yeah. We'll discuss it later. There's a new swimming robot, which, if you remember, which was the Christian Bale Terminator film, Salvation.
Yeah.
You remember in like the water, they had these like robotic snakes.
Yeah.
Someone's basically invented that,
Great.
but without the sharp, angry bit at the front.
Give it time. Give it time.
It's called Agnothax.
That's a lovely name, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I was listening to the chap. I forget where he was from. I want to say Switzerland. But Agnatha is like the original like fish, like Latin name, like the first fish or something. And then X is because it's got like 10 segments on it. So it's the Roman numeral X. So they just called it Agnothax. But it's cool. It's I think they were testing it, and it swims through the water. It's based on like a lamprey, which is a very sort of ancient order of. It's just like an eel, but it doesn't even have a separate jaw. It's just got like a circular mouth full of teeth.
Nice.
But this robot is very clever in that it's got the 10 different sections, but you can actually cut and damage this robot's like spinal cord, and the robot can still function because the sensors in each of those 10 sections can actually like register the water movements, and it can just keep on going.
Seriously, do people want the robot uprising?
What it's designed for is
to attack and overtake the human race and kill us all.
Obviously, it's for deep sea research because we still don't know a lot about deep waters. So if we can just send a bunch of these just to swim in grid patterns, just having a look around, seeing what they can find and all that kind of stuff.
Can we not just send William Shatner down there? He's been up. It now needs to go down.
I was listening to that this morning, and he was saying how it's like life-changing and all this kind of stuff. And then they actually broke down the flight, and then they're like, they basically fly you up to 100 kilometers where you're just like skimming the general accepted, you're in space now for 10 minutes, and then you just like fall back down. You're like, oh, okay. Whereas, what's his name? Elon Musk, he's like sending NASA astronauts up to the International Space Station. So he's got bigger rockets, but I don't know how much it is, but it's going to be pretty expensive to get one of those Blue Origin places.
All you do it though, you get that thing that looks like a willy, because it does look like a willy, and then you flip it upside down, and then and then it can just go straight into the ocean. Anyway, sorry, completely diverged. Well,
actually, it was quite a good segue because it is another avenue for these like drones is exploring other planets and moons. So Jupiter's moons, they think there's a lot of ice, and underneath the ice they think there's water. So in a few decades' time, when we are planning sort of exploratory rockets, we'll send a bunch of these drones up. They'll drill them down, and then these things will just swim around if there is an ocean.
And then create their own species, and then come back and kill us all.
Talking about killing us all, 2 scuba divers were actually killed by crocodiles, of all things. So this, I forget where this was, the Royal Solomon Islands. Or just the Solomon Islands. I don't know why I added royal. But they just lifted a ban on like hunting for sea cucumbers. Sea cucumbers, they're worth a fair amount of money, especially to Asian markets, because they're an aphrodisiac.
Okay.
They're not, but people think they are.
Well, they are. No, they are.
But they say it's really unfortunate, but it's like the perfect storm, because they've put a ban on sort of people going out to pick them up and recover these sea cucumbers, because they've just lifted them. Obviously, there's a mad rush, so everyone who can is just going out to catch as many as they can. The numbers will have increased, but also crocodile population has been increasing during this time as well. So
Makes sense.
yeah, unfortunately. And as per usual, you can predict it. They're looking for a crocodile cull.
Of course.
It's just
Well, they know
bonkers
which
idea.
crocodile it is because they'll be wearing a mask and they have a cylinder on their back.
Yeah, it's sad
Can't
story.
believe
I
it
mean,
is
you
sad,
see it.
yeah.
I mean, I saw it on Reddit. Someone put up a picture, and it's a crocodile or an alligator. I still don't know the difference between the two, but I imagine crocodile, because it would have been in open salt water, and you're going to get saltwater crocodiles. I don't think you get saltwater alligators, but it was swimming between these like scuba divers, and like people on Reddit were saying, "Oh, would you scuba dive with crocodiles?" And it's like, probably not.
No,
I know
wouldn't
they
go
don't.
anywhere near them.
Yeah, I don't think they really hunt underwater, but still, you've got to get to the surface at some point. That's when they do. So, yeah,
If you do
are in
find
an
out,
area-
guys and girls, though, that if you do go diving with crocs, or maybe this applies to alligators as well, and you get tangled up with them, if you stick your fingers in their nose holes, they have to open to breathe.
Okay.
And then they release you. I learnt that. Again, there was a Reddit post, and a little girl learnt it from like her local zoo or whatever. And then
But
she
if you're
got attacked
underwater-
with a crocodile, and she literally stuck her fingers in its nostrils. It went, let go to breathe, and then she released her arm or her leg or whatever. Don't give me that doubt, Mark. It was on Reddit, which means it's totally true.
I'm just thinking, because isn't their whole like MO is pull you under the water and then just death roll you?
Well,
under
you
the
might-
water,
you
in which
might
case
get a
they
lazy
don't want
one.
to breathe.
You could do it while you're at a jaunty angle.
Whilst it's spinning you around
Yeah.
at like 120 RPM. Like,
Yeah.
right, I've got to find his nostrils. Boink.
How long can he hold his breath for? But yeah, that sucks that they've died.
Yeah.
Any death is horrible. I know all jokes
if-
over or whatever.
Yeah. If you are in that area, do be careful.
Yeah. Maybe don't. Maybe wait for it to calm down a bit. You know what I mean? It's like people going to get petrol. Just let it calm down.
Yeah. Or just like feed the nearby crocodiles so they're not hungry.
Yeah.
And then go for your dive.
Yeah.
They don't hunt when they're not hungry. Anyway, a camera, one of those cameras that they stick to the back of seals, has been recovered after it was lost about 3 years ago. So
Nice.
this it was discovered off the ocean floor off Nova Scotia. And I think fishermen, they brought it up in their nets, and they're like, oh, this is interesting. The camera itself is worth about $10,000. I think because it's got because a lot of technology, it's got to be super tough and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's being attached to like a grey seal, it can go fairly deep underwater, but also it's got like GPS stuff. But yeah, it was stuck onto a young male grey seal on Sable Island on December 31st, 2017, of all days.
They
They're
had to
still
get it
working.
in before the end of the year. It was like
New
an
Year's Eve.
audit was happening on the 1st.
Just slapping them on the backs of seals and like,
There's
yeah,
loads of
go,
them.
go.
Go.
And then they record what they do. They kind of they record their pings of like where they are, GPS, all that kind of stuff. And then eventually they just unstick themselves, and they normally sort of float up to the surface and they get recovered. But this one didn't. It did disconnect, but it was just lost at sea. So they kind of wrote it off. But yeah, 3 years later, they're like, oh, this is interesting. They got it back, and they're like, oh, okay, it's still in good nick. And they're going to put it back into circulation and attach it to another seal.
So, mate, just rub a bit of polish. That'll do. Wipe the memory.
Yeah, that's it. Just put a new memory card in it, charge the battery up. Off
Happy
you go.
days. Off you trot. That's cool.
Yeah. They got a fair few hours of footage off of it. 59 20-minute videos on the storage card that they're going to now sort of take a look at. But yeah, then after they've charged up the battery, put a new memory card in, they're going to slap it on the back of another seal.
Wicked. And then it'll fall off, and then they'll leave it 3 years.
Yeah. I bet whoever goes to go and collects it is just like, oh, it's this one. It's camera number 00789. Is that
God damn it, 789.
And finally, we're traveling to Japan, and this is a company called Utsukushi Umino Winery, and it's basically a winery that you can basically pay them to like store and mature your alcohol underwater. I think.
What do they show it like adult movies or something?
No. No, they have these underwater like cages and crates, undisclosed location, I imagine, because otherwise, yoink.
Yoink. Yeah.
But they do offer a scuba diving experience for one person, which I think is they basically sort of show you how they do it, and you can help do their work for them or something.
Oh wow! So you're paying them to do a job.
I think so. It's 13,200 yen, which is about £85.
Okay.
Which for a dive, you have to be qualified. Obviously, you have to have your own equipment, all that kind of stuff. It's fairly expensive, but it's something a little bit different. But yeah, also if you bring your favorite bottle of liquor, and they'll waterproof it. I think they put it in like a special bottle and like wax seal all that kind of stuff properly, and they age it at a depth of 50 meters for 6 months. And a lot of people were saying that it gives it a really unique sort of flavor and finish. Not just like salty, kelpy, but no, because it's because it's at that like sort of temperature, and it's got all these like minerals and stuff like sort of going past it. That actually it ages in a very distinct and actually pleasant way, and it's just an interesting story.
It is.
I think it's 6,600 yen per bottle, which is £42.40. So that's fairly expensive.
You might as well go and do, guys, throw your bottle in the ocean, put it on a fishing line, and then 6 months later reel it back in.
Yeah.
Because that's how easy it is.
Yeah. No.
Do you reckon they'll do it? I could take a case of 4 Coronas down with you. Just put them in there. You got all this nice wine. And then it was a special buy, mate. $2.99 for 4, bargain.
Yeah.
Or what's that? What's the old like the hobo cider special brew?
Bit of special brew. Is that all the new like 0% stuff?
Yeah.
But this is becoming a really big industry.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it originated because someone did discover like a loss. Someone had just dropped like a crate of wine or whatever it was, and that they discovered it like a year or so later, and then they tried it and they're like, ooh, actually this is really nice. And a lot of these like wineries and distilleries or whatever, they've been like practicing with it, and they're really like leaning into it, and maybe this is a big future industry that scuba divers can definitely get on board with. Just make sure that it's secret, because there was one a few months back, wasn't it, that they had these like cages on like attached onto a popular shipwreck. And they came back and they were all gone. Funny that.
Which you could buy on my eBay store. Wine for you for less. That is my eBay tag. Yeah, I think it's cool, but again, it's one of those things where everyone's like, oh yeah, I can taste this with wine, I can taste this with wine. I don't have a sophisticated palate, so I'm like,
No.
cool, whatever. I just taste wine.
Yeah, I'm not the same with wine, or I am the same as you with wine. I
Yeah.
don't. It's like, yep, it's wine. I use it in cooking, but I couldn't tell you the difference between two different wines, or the value of something. It's just like, oh no, for me, just £5.
It's just like, I get my I get my dad a bottle of wine for his birthday every year, and I look at it and I'm like, literally £5 one. And where my brother, he obviously owns a pub and stuff, like he has the really fancy bottle, and I'm like,
Nah.
here's your Ardies, Dad. It was an offer, £5. And my brother's like, here's some blah 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 wine in this region. I'm like, cool. When you pour it though, they look the same. So
yours just has like this white label on the front with just white, sorry, with just wine drink in Arial font.
And it's wine is spelt with a Y as well. Classy, mate. Classy. Wicked. All right. So that is news. Awesome.
Yep.
Again, if you got any news, I know Mark normally says this at the end. Yeah, pop some stories down below for us.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yes.
What is your product of the week?
My product of the week. I was looking at the Aqualung Legend MBS regulator. So when I was sort of going through the regulator range, I was talking about regulator features in I think it was a deep dive the other week, and the MBS, or the Master Breathing System, sort of came up in that, and it's clever. It's basically an all-in-one adjustment knob. Instead of having two separate levers and switches, one for your breathing adjustment and one for your Venturi lever, the Aqualung Legend MBS, that has an all-in-one system. So when you screw it all the way in, normally all of that does on most second stages is makes it a little bit harder to open up that valve. So when you inhale, you have to sort of suck in a little bit harder to open up that valve. The MBS does that, but at the same time, it rotates a little collar on the inside around the barrel that redirects the airflow. So that way, if your mouthpiece is ever out of your mouth, normally if you're swapping second stages in water, you should dial it in and activate the Venturi lever. With MBS, you only have to do one thing, so there's less twiddling and less sort of faffing around with your second stage. But then for pure ease of breathe, you just unscrew it all the way, and then that has optimum airflow because the Venturi sort of system is deactivated, and it opens up the valve, so it's a little bit easier to open, and all in this single motion. So it's very neat, and I don't think it gets enough like coverage, because most regulators, you like Venturi switch, yes, breathing adjustment, yes, but actually MBS is both of them combined, and you only find it on this one second stage. I think it was on the previous version of the Legend, but now we're on the third generation of Legends. So very very up to date. But yeah, for cold water, warm water, it is a lovely regulator, lovely breathe as well. Aqualung, fantastic company. They're global as well, so you can get sort of servicing parts from them all over the place. But yeah, I thought they were worth mentioning. But also, we stock them on SimplyScuba.com in the Stage 3 system. So normally when you buy regulators, you get the first stage, which is the big metal bit that attaches onto your cylinder. Then you get the primary second stage, which is the black second stage, the mouthpiece that you breathe from. That's just like a regulator. You then have to add the octo, you then have to add your gauges and all that kind of stuff. Whenever you see the term Stage 3 on the SimplyScuba website, that means that you get the octo as well. And of course, it's a paired Legend octo, so it works perfectly with the first stage, and it matches the whole sort of style of the regulator. So the MBS Stage 3 regulator, if you're looking for a new set of regs that you can travel around the world with, or sort of dive at home with that master breathing system, yes, definitely worth checking out.
Nice. You can find that, like Mark says, at simplyscuba.com. If you're listening to this on the podcast, head over to simplyscuba.com and type it in. Just type in MBS and I'm sure it will pop up. Or if you're watching this, it would have just on YouTube, it would have just popped up as Mark was talking about it. Or again, the link is going to be pinned in the description and in the comments below. So go check it out. And if you do listen to us on SoundCloud, the link is in SoundCloud as well. So yeah, you'll see that there anyway. All right, Mark. Wicked. So let's go to the question. So if you've watched Ask Mark, you will know kind of the reason why I'm speaking about this. But obviously you've watched Ask Mark. You were there, Mark. You were there. So thinking about not necessarily trends, but so there is a neoprene shortage in the world. More brands are looking at eco-friendly alternatives, aren't they? So like Ulex and stuff. That is the future, really. Let's be honest. That is going to be the future of wetsuits and stuff like that. Ideally. But that's wetsuits specifically. But does the colour palette does there need to be more of a colour palette in the scuba diving world, mainly in the equipment? Now, like I said, with the Ulex, there are more colours coming out. Apex are doing a fantastic job, aren't they, at bringing in more colours. But do you reckon there needs to be more from other brands and stuff? What are your thoughts on non-black items, should we say?
Yeah, I think so. I think the problem is that it's risky. It's risky for anyone to go away from black or like grey because they are quite alienating, and people will, but my mask is blue, or my mask is red, and it's like the orange doesn't really go, or the green doesn't really go. So it's really hard for a company to like put their foot down and just go, you know what, this is it. It's green, it's Flurple.
Flurple!
Because too many things. And the more people you speak with, they're like, I do kind of wish it wasn't just black everything, black wetsuit, black BCD, black regulator. It would be nice. We're seeing it with rash vests. I think rash vests do quite well because they're that kind of crossover between like the surf community and that kind of stuff, who've already sort of embraced that kind of color and funky styles, making things a bit sort of quirky and colorful. Rash vests, they used to be just black, but now we're seeing lots of blues and pattern designs as well. So I think we're going to start to see more and more sort of manufacturers branching out. We're already seeing it with Aqualung. They've got some funky designs from designers in their new, I think it's the Hydroflex wetsuits. They have a coral kind of pattern down on the arms. Nice. So they are sort of branching out. They are becoming a bit more sort of patterned and sort of a bit more fun. They had a pair of boots, and it had like, I think they literally called it Galaxy, and it just had star constellations kind of on it instead of just a black pair of boots. They're like a vibrant blue. Cool. I think the gear is going to become a bit more colourful, like with their lunar mini torches. They're getting bright colours. They offer a range of colours. So if you don't like purple or if you don't like orange, then you have green, but they'll always have that. They do still have that gunmetal grey. It's still an option. If you just want grey or black, I think they'll still sort of do it. But I think they are going to start to venture out and start to be a bit more creative because there is demand for it. And whenever I go online nowadays on like Instagram or any kind of social media, you do get like slip skins, which are like full body rash vests. And they're like turtle shell kind of pattern, or the whale shark, all that kind of stuff, tiger sharks and all that. So there is demand for it, and people love that kind of stuff. It gets great interaction, and you do stand out on dive boats and whatnot, instead of just a whole row of black wetsuits. There's just the logos a different shape or style. Starting to see a bit more variety. I mean, I've got the fourth element Xenos, the Proteus, which is in like, I can't remember what, but it's like a bright blue. It's kind of royal blue. It's like SimplyScuba blue, but it's quite a bright and different blue, and you do really stand out in the water, and people identify you that much easier because it was a dive guide years and years ago, and he said, "Oh yeah, you can always sort of call on Mark. He's the one in the white rash vest." Because no one else had a white rash vest. So if everyone's wearing something vibrantly different, then it makes identifying people in the water that much easier. So I think we're going to start to see it. It's not going to be a sudden, everything's Mardi Gras, bright colours, all that kind of stuff. But eventually, like, some of the wetsuits in the range are going to start to creep in, and they're a bit more colourful. And if they do well, then they'll sort of increase the range. But I think we'll always have black wetsuits because it's very safe for the manufacturers. People are always going to buy black wetsuits because you can't go far wrong. Black goes with everything. It's a very safe color, especially for sort of equipment like torches and things. Yeah. But I mean, you see it with people want it. You see it with hoses. Everyone has like colored hoses nowadays. People like to decorate their scuba cylinders. They like a bit of color, a bit of what you call it, like personalization. And
that does two things. You've got the personalization. This is my gear, but then also as well, you know what your gear is. So rather than a row of black BCDs that all look very similar. You know what I mean? You might have some color tone or something that pops out. You know?
X Deep do it with their BCDs. You can choose like almost every panel a different color material. You can choose the color of the stitching and the trim. It's like buying a new car, like on those online builders. You can say, okay, I want this trim in white, but then I want this panel in blue and this and such, and people do some real like customization stuff. You do have to pay a little extra for it, and it is custom. So once you hit order, it's yours. But more and more people are going down that route instead of just have black. They do want that bit of personalization, so they really stand out.
That's cool.
Yes.
Excellent.
Will be a bit more colourful.
Would you, people that's listening, people that are watching our audio bars, what do you girls and guys think? Let us know in the comments, please. More colour or more black? But it's going to be more colour. You know what I mean?
I mean, you look at the Apex RK3 fins. They started off in black. And that's it. Can't go far wrong. They're a pair of vented fins in black. Boom. Then they started to bring out other colors, and then they just kept going. So people do want colors, but for the manufacturers it's a nightmare because as soon as you add another color, it just multiplies how many SKUs you have, and how much extra manufacturing has to go into it. So it's tough for them, but it's what the people want.
Exactly. And that's at the end of the day, you want that dollar bill, son. You know what I mean? You got to chase it. You know, is what it is. Also, as well as a consumer, we don't really have to worry about that. And also, when it comes to ordering these things and putting them in the warehouse, we don't have to worry about that because that's not our job. Right? Shall we end? Shall we end it? Shall we?
Yeah. Thank you for listening, everybody. Obviously, as always. Unfortunately, Sean has already run out of his brand new limited edition colour Flurple. We had a rush of sales. So if you didn't get a chance to see it, I'm sorry, but that's it. Unfortunately, next week might be another batch.
It's easy. Just close your eyes and just think. That's the colour.
Imagine a colour that you've never seen before.
That's what it is.
That's Flurple.
You're welcome.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to us, but also head over to our Instagram, hit that sort of follow button. That would be a very, very nice. Thank you very much in advance. Of course, don't forget to head over to SimplyScuba.com. We sell all sorts of interesting scuba diving equipment. More and more stuff is arriving. I promise you we do have some exciting things coming up, but that's the last I'm going to talk about it until they actually arrive, because I don't like promising things and they just never arrive, which seems to be exactly what's happening in the past couple of weeks. But if you are looking at something and you are sort of struggling, money's a little bit tight right now, we do have Klarna, which is a 0% finance option for you, just to make your life a little bit easier. You can break up those payments and pay it off over a longer period, so it's not quite as a hit on your bank balance, especially heading up to Christmas time. We also have Adyen, which is a sort of behind the scenes sort of encryption factor. It's extra safety. It basically encrypts all of your banking data, so it can't be stolen, basically. Lots of clever features. I think they even have extra features if you are like a member of Adyen, so you can get sort of extra sort of things behind the scenes. Which is
you
cool.
get other people's details. You don't.
No, I hope not. Don't forget to check out the 2 Minute Foundation as well. They do some wonderful things, just sort of helping out to clean up your local areas, but you can also help out. There's a Beach Clean app, which you search for that on the App Store. Then, it's kind of like a social media thing where you can sort of show what you've collected and just sort of help out your local environment. If you do have any questions, comments, or queries, anything that you want myself or Sean to discuss on the Friday show, try and use the hashtag #AskMark in your comments. It just makes it a lot easier for us to find them. And that's it for this week. Thank you for listening, everybody, and of course, safe diving.
Stay classy, scuba divers.
The Deco Stop podcast is produced and recorded by SimplyScuba, the UK's #1 dive store. Visit today at SimplyScuba.com.